Right, sorry about that everybody, minor technical hitch where you couldn't hear a damn thing I was saying, which for some people you must be a lot of sharp relief, I must admit. So, welcome back. It appears to be my regular Monday slot. Not that Monday is my thing. It is what it is. I think I'm still trying to do my promise of trying to do a stream a week, or at least record something every week, and the way things are going, getting something in on a Monday seems to be a reasonable thing. Okay, is this working? It is working. Hopefully everything is working. It should be working. Yes, it does look like it's working. Yes, that's good. So, no matches this week. I might see if I can tap Chester up for another match at some point soon. Depends on what he wants to play. He quite likes dual stockpile, so I'll see if I can come up with something evil for him. He seems to like that. Glutton for punishment. So, going back at the start of when all this happened a few years ago, I started doing kind of set reviews with Travis and Gustav, and we got as far as Mech Warrior, and then they went their own ways for a number of reasons. One of which was because I wasn't available one week because I wasn't even in the country. But anyway, so I started with Crusade and went backwards. So this is kind of nearly getting towards the middle ground. So this is, or are, the Commander's Edition High Command cards. Now, these were the only 8 new cards printed in Commander's Edition, and, excuse me while I get one, the only places you could get them were if you happen to fall across one of these. There we go. You needed a box. The box was the only place you could get the high command cards. They were not released in any of the boosters. So this is Wizards getting a bit cheeky on the money and making everyone buy the boxes of their pre-constructed decks. Just a small note to say that they are pre-constructed up to the point of 50 cards. They are 60 card decks. There are 10 random cards in there. And for any of you that have played the draft or looked at the draft modules that I wrote for Lackey, or played in any of the tournaments that Michael's run, then you'll know that some of those cards are static as hell, and the others vary, even to the extent that you can pull 3 of the same one. But still. So the high command cards themselves were designed, or the boxes were designed to support the high command cards themselves and try and emphasize how good they were. Some of them did them reasonably well. Some of them did them not as well. Some of the boxes are just poor. Some of them are actually quite good. They've all got their weaknesses. They've all got their strengths. It's just some of the strengths are not quite in line with the weaknesses of some of the others. So we're just going to have a look at these cards. I am not going to do a tier list. I've moved computer since the last time I did tier lists. I've got to log in and find all of that. And as today isn't so much scripted and whatever, it's not ad hoc as I know I'm going to do high command cards, but it's not maybe as organised as it could be. So I don't know where we should start, whether we should start at the top, start at the bottom. Maybe we should do them in alphabetical order. Maybe I should split them between clan and Inner Sphere. One thing to note is that the rarity, at least in the BT Tactics plugin, is fixed. And I suspect that's because you could only get them in one place, the Commander's Edition box. That actually probably makes them the next 8 rarest cards in the game after double overtime, because you couldn't get them in boosters. Okay, so probably the easiest way to find them is to go to the rarity column and put in fix, and it will filter the rest of them out, which is what I've done. Okay, so let's just have a look. We'll start with the first one. The first one is the Comstar High Command. It is a straight 3 asset, which is quite nice given its abilities. It has 4 armor and 2 structure, making it a little on the weak side. If we can think of our wonderful card from Crusade called Strategic Bombardment, choose any resource card in play and deal 2 structure to it. Is this a resource card? No, it's not a resource card. So it's safe from strategic bombardment. As we will see in a minute, that's not always the case. Okay, and it very nicely gives you A, L, M, P, and T, all of the resources, and it has an ability which says tap, target gets +2 attack. Use this ability only during a mission. So for those of you that are familiar with Comstar, you'll be aware of the Comguard response team. Target gets +4. And for reference, this is the target of the mission, not as some magic player tried to beat me up with sometime and lost miserably. I'm playing this on that mech. That's the target of my card. Even when he was attacking my stockpile. The target of this mission is that mech. I get +4. And you're thinking, no, this isn't strategic, superior nav or anything else like that. So it's the target of the mission, the target that is declared for the mission. It could be somebody's stockpile, it could be a unit, whatever else. Okay. So the most common one is probably the stockpile. This one is often used to deter dashers at +4. It kills a dasher. The high command card at +2 will kill a dasher. If we just check our dasher, it's a 032. Here is the prime 023. Sorry, not 032, 023. So the Comstar High Command will kill it. And also note that you can tap it and give itself +2 attack. So if you decide to go and kill this with 2 dashers, one of them will die. It's okay. Having all the assets is quite nice. +2 attack is okay. You've got to tap for it. Bit pricey maybe at 3, depending on how you want to look at it. Would you put it in a deck? Maybe. Would you play it in draft? Probably. The thing with this is it's telegraphed. As soon as it goes on the table, your opponent is thinking, right, why are they playing that? Are they after A, L, M, P, or T? Let's look at their resources. Well, they've got loads of A and loads of T. And there's no politics, and they've just put a politics subterfuge card into play. I think they're using that for politics, so I'll send a couple of units over to deal with it and take 2 damage for the privilege. But because of that, it telegraphs itself. It's all right. It's probably above average, but that doesn't mean it makes itself into many decks. And I think the only time I've seen this play out is draft. Okay. So, all right, but not the end of the world. The Davian High Command costs a paltry 1 in comparison and has 3 tactics. Again, it's a 4 armor 2 structure. Doesn't have the resource keyword. And like all command cards, they are unique, which means you can pull them with Hasty Alliance. Interesting one. When you activate this card, put 3 innovation counters on it. Put another innovation counter on it during each of your untap phases. So it will ramp and ramp and ramp. Tap. Remove any number of innovation counters from the Davian High Command and get that much initiative. Use this ability during a mission. So what I kind of don't understand with this a bit is it comes preloaded with 3 counters. So tap, remove any number. So you could tap it and get 3 initiative straight off, which might give you enough to see what the other guy's doing, but and allow you to play 3 mission cards. Maybe you might say, if I keep tapping it, I will get enough initiative and I'll be at +1. And it's only during a mission, so it's not per turn. So it might help you make a decision here and there. The trouble is that Davian is so full of initiative, left, right, and centre. If you look at, is it Hansi Davian the Fox? For each resource card scrapped from opponent's stockpile, gain 1 resource at the beginning of your next deploy phase. Okay, tap +1 initiative. The Legacy, Choose an attacking mech. That mech gets +2 armor, which, and then you've got other initiative effects going off on here. Is it Morgan Hasek Davian? +1 initiative for each attacking unit, and each attacking unit gets +1 attack. They just seem to like the initiative Davian thing. It's like the Davians have initiative, and if you look at some of these other cards, let's look at where are we? Affiliation, and if we go with Davian, then and we get rid of all of the units. Doesn't contain unit. Sorry, keyword doesn't contain. Let's change that to mech. So Alex, Mallory, Kai's got initiative up the yazoo. Kai wins initiative. Luck of the Fox, where are we? New Avalon, scrap a card from your hand to get +2 initiative. So this comes with the box where you've also got the high command card. In fact, that's probably a good shout to have a look at in a minute. Victor's got an initiative out the yazoo. Silver Sunburst Pilot has. You get that from them. Not that you can see it played much. Teachings of the Unfinished Book give you +2 initiative. Why do they keep spamming initiative at Davian? Let's just put box in here because I think this is going to be useful as well. We'll take that out. That was New Avalon, wasn't it? Rarity is box. So come on, mouse. Let's just change this over to show the box powers because they were in use at the same time. We'll just clear this out. So where are we? The Davian one is +2 initiative. The Comstar one, scrap a card from your hand, look at your opponent's hand, discard one of those cards. Yeah, we know about that. We've said how broken that is. Okay. So I just don't understand why they keep pumping Davian for initiative. There are 2 mission cards that is useful. Expert Maneuvers and Expert Timing. Turning one into damage is quite nice and preventing it is others, but you have to build your deck that way. And I've never seen one that's particularly successful. So, next, the Ghost Bear. The Ghost Bear has a 2 cost, 1L, 2T, and as soon as I see 1L, 2T, I'm thinking, is this the Ghost Bear Elemental type thing going on? And it's a 4/2 again, unique clan. Whenever a card other than a resource or unit is scrapped from your stockpile, put that card into your hand. Now that effect is quite interesting because basically non-units and non-resources. So we are talking missions and commands that do not have the resource keyword. So it could be Bjorn, it could be Aletha, it could be any of the missions that you happen to have in your deck. Now, that's nice when someone attacks your stockpile, but personally I think I'd rather prefer it if they didn't attack my stockpile. And I also have this card on the table. And again, as soon as this hits the table, it telegraphs it. And you think, well, do I want to give him a couple of free draws, missions and whatever else, or shall I just go and smack the high command card first? And the answer is probably go and smack the high command first. On the box power front, we have scrap a card from your hand, activate a mech in your construction region that's fully constructed, put a +1 counter on it for every 3. So there's no synergy between these two at all, unless you want to scrap one of the missions or the unique or a command card that you've just saved by having your stockpile beaten up in order to give you a +1 counter for every 3 over the top. Complete bunkum. Ghost Pair really did get screwed with both of these in a respect. I mean, arguably they are kind of interesting effects, but there is no synergy and they are kind of in the face of the game. As I said, why would I want a card that gives me cards when my stockpile is attacked. And I have damage when that is actually my life and what keeps me in the game. If it's a choice between having 5 cards scrapped and picking up a mission, or not having 5 cards scrapped, I think I'd rather have the 5 cards still in my stockpile for the next round. I can draw missions, I can recycle them with black market, etc, etc. So Ghost Bear 1, not great. Okay. Jade Falcon High Command, 2+1L. 1L, a bit strange for Jade Falcon, although they often run A, L and M on most of their big stuff. 4 armor, 2 cost. There's the budgie in front of the green budgie in front of the floppy disk shutter, and literally it's tap for 2 resources, which isn't too bad. I mean, when you compare it to improved construction facilities, 4 cost provides L, tap for 3. We'll just do a quick check on that. I'll just show you that. 4, it's a 3/3, so 6 to kill it either way. Tap, resource, 3 resources, which you have to use straight away. But interestingly, it's got 3 structure and 3 armor, not 4 and 2, and there is a boon for here. So is 4 for 3 okay? Jade Falcon High Command is 2 for 2, but it has the resource keyword, so you can kill it straight off with strategic bombardment. Interestingly, it is resource, so you can pull it with war funds. That's quite nice, but you've got to play 2+1L for it. And are there better cards? Should I? You can put it out with Merchant Cast if you draw it. 2 for 2. Are you going to want the boost at that point? Is improved better? At higher levels, things like advanced manufacturing techniques, I'll just pop that up, can give you more boost and provide logistics and a 3/3. This one says tap for a resource, which you can do, and then tap and add 2 counters to a card in construction with 5 on it, and add 3 if it's got 8. So if you're building big stuff, this is probably better. And Jade Falcon, as I said, strategic bombardment fodder because of that, and a bit more costly. It doesn't provide L. If it was 2 and provided L, I would say, whoa, that's pretty strong. That's pretty strong if it was 2 and provided L, but 2 with +1L, there are better cards out there, I think. Okay. So we just put our box back on. What does the Jade Falcon box say? The Jade Falcon box says, scrap a card from your hand and repair 3 damage to each of your units. And again, we've already discussed how average meh that is, because in this game, most units die horribly or stick around with no counters on them. So repairing 3 for scrapping a card isn't great. Okay. Right. Kurita. Oh boy, they went from mediocrity into absolute stellar. This card is crazy. Okay. Kurita High Command, 3 tactics. Okay, so decent there. 4/2 as ever. Command unique in a sphere. Alright, so here we go. Kurita aligned. Each of your mechs gets -1 structure and gains C3. Each unit with C3 in a group that includes one other unit with C3 gets +2 attack. So every unit you have loses 1 structure, and if that means they have no structure left, they die. Explosion, pile of molten metal on the floor, but they gain C3. And if you attack in pairs, +2 is pretty crazy. Okay, so here's my example. Let's have a look at our little friend here, the Grand Dragon. Okay, it's a 2/6/3 overheat 2+1. So the overheat just goes against the armor, which is very nice. That gives it 4 attack. So if you've got 2 of these doing 4 attack each with C3, That's another 4 on top. That does 12. Most things are not going to survive that, and they're pretty tough to kill. Okay. You probably don't put the Kurita High Command out early. In fact, when I played draft, somebody put it out early when they'd got 2 fast mechs on the table. I blocked with my only Nexus, I think it was, and played carpet bombing. They both had -1 structure because of the Kurita High Command, and they all died. It was a big molten mess. But I basically traded one mech and a mission for 2 or 3 units, and then went and smacked the Kurita High Command on the following turn because it's just too good. This is a game-ending card. This is the same as effectively putting good shooting on all of your units, or even Sandhurst. Let's look at what Sandhurst does. Sandhurst, Royal Military Academy. Tap one of your unpiloted units. That mech gets +2 attack or +2 armor. If it survives, you get to untap it. That's the real kicker with Sandhurst. It's a re-spammable contract. So the crazy thing here is that Kurita High Command effectively gives you units. Yeah, it gives them C3. Okay, yes, they've got to attack in pairs, but you're getting all that extra damage with it. And if you get to a stalemate where you've got 4 units and he's got 1, then you can afford to attack in 2 pairs of 2, kill the 1 unit off effectively, deal to the stockpile, and then the next turn you're on 4 units plus what you deploy versus what he is. It's a game ender. It's a game ender. Or the best way to play it is. Okay. If we look at the box which it comes with, or which box is in there, where are we? There's the Kurita one. Come on, Kurita. Scrap a card from your hand to give your attacking mech +1 attack. Well, that's pretty nice. Okay, give your attacking mech +1 attack. It's not great, but at least they're cohesive. Use this ability during mission and anything. And then you've also got Takashi Kurita's Legacy. If you control no Kurita cards, scrap it. Otherwise, choose one of your attacking units. Right, so let's be fair here. Choose one of your attacking units. You don't have to tap it. So you can attack with 1 mech. Choose 1 unit. There's only 1 mech there. +2. Thank you very much. Use this ability only during a mission. Then you attack again. 1 mech. +2. Thank you very much. Or attack with a pair. Kurita High Command. +2 on each of them, and +2 from one of these as well. So it kind of combos. It kind of works well. This is another game-ending card, but the Kurita High Command is probably the best of the command cards, the high command cards. Okay, Smoke Jag. Synergy. Yes, good synergy. Yes, in draft, no, in constructed. Okay. So Smoke Jag, High Command. 1, 2 tactics. That's not bad. 4-2, fine. Tap for a resource. Well, that's quite useful. At least you get something out of it. What have we got so far? Everything gets C3. Tap for 2 resources. No effect at all apart from what happens when you get hit. That you can't tap for anything. This you can tap for +2. So Smoke Jag, getting a resource, at least you can use it as a resource generator straight off. And that gives you a lot of flexibility with it. So that's quite good. Tap, re-roll one of your missile die rolls or add 1 to that roll. Alright, so you can roll it again or add 1 to it. Use this ability immediately after rolling the missile dice. So it's a missile deck again, you get +1 to it, so that's alright. And then you look at the Huntress, you look at the command card, the box power, scrap a card from your hand, choose one of your mechs, re-roll all of the missiles for that unit. And remember, in that deck, there's the Ryokan, the one with the 3 missiles and Narc, and also there is a retrofitted missile rack in there. The thing with this is re-roll all the missiles and mech. That's quite useful. When you look at the Smoke Jag High Command, the resource is nice, but just 1 to a die roll. Wouldn't you just rather have a targeting ace? Wouldn't you be able to add 1 or take away 1 from that? It's not even a targeting ace. It costs the same. It's not a target either. It's not sat there waiting for it. Yeah, okay, it's a resource. Wouldn't you just have a targeting ace? Or wouldn't you just prefer Narc? Where are we? What's the effect of Narc? That makes -1 against Narc. You may subtract 1 from each of the missile rolls. So Smokejag High Command is add 1 or re-roll 1. You take your luck into hand. So it's kind of an anti-Narc. It's a similar sort of effect. It would make a 1, a 2, a 2, a 3, but that's only on a 1 or a 2. So it only affects 3 rolls, if you think about it. If you roll a 1, you're going to up that to a 2 with this card. If you roll a 2, you're going to up it to a 3. Great. If you roll a 3, you're not going to touch it. If you're going to roll a 4, you might re-roll it. If you roll a 5 or a 6, you're probably going to re-roll it. The reason for 4 is that if you've got Narc, you can turn a 4 into a 3. Great in the very focused missile deck that literally slaughtered most tournaments and got banned because of it. Also note that the Kurita box on occasion was mispackaged and contained an entire set of Smokejag cards, which was quite funny because the box power didn't work with the rest of the deck. This is quite funny. You pull out your Smokejag cards and you want to give your mech +1 attack, which is yeah. So Smokejag, yes, in the format that it came in, but would you put it? You might stick it in a missile deck, but let's face it, missile deck's never going to win anything at the moment. So Steiner. Now, for me, this is kind of one of the sleepers in a way. It's 3 with 5 politics on it, and that's a pretty heavy buyout. Again, it's 4/2. Whenever you deploy a subterfuge card, you may show that card to all players to draw a card and also make an additional deployment. Okay, so if you want to show someone your subterfuge, you can use this and draw a card and get an additional deployment. Note that this says when you deploy a subterfuge card. So this means you could actually deploy 2 subterfuge cards, show them to people, get an additional draw and an additional deployment, which could then put another subterfuge card into play and continue the cycle. Obviously, you need a deck of subterfuge cards, and you need this on the table, and it's unique, but it can cascade. Okay. Does that work with the box power? Scrap a card from your hand to gain a resource. Use this ability during your deploy phase. Maybe if you've put loads of subterfuge cards out and you want to put a resource on one of them, maybe. But it's pretty poo. I'd rather have the assembly on the table and tap it for 3 or 4 turns to get 3 or 4 resources out of it than scrap it for 1 unless I'm absolutely desperate. And if I'm absolutely desperate, there's a good chance the game is gone. So I think the Steiner High Command one, and Steiner do subterfuge really reasonably well. If you look at the Steiner Commander's Edition deck, you have Steel Mech in that particular deck, which is subterfuge, and there's a couple of others in there as well. The problem with Steel Mech is it's fanning around with all the counters and no one else to do it online, but it is in there, and you can do stuff with it. Okay. Strategic Bombardment I put in there just to show that it will kill most of this lot. And that leaves us with the lovely Wolf High Command. 2/2 tactics, reasonable asset buyouts. 4/2 again. Each of your mechs gets -1 structure and +1 attack. Now that's quite decent. If you're playing wolf with something like a dash set. If you think about the wolf, then the big problem with dash wolf is that most of the units do 3. With this, most of the units do 4, which is great because that gives you a lot of resource denial. Because you're doing 2 lots of 4, which is 8, and most resource cards are 7. So you can use this if you're going down the resource denial route. The problem with that is it's unique and clan, and you have to pull it. The other way to look at it is a bit like the Karita and call this a game end card because everything gets +1. I think the problem with the wolf is everything tends to be a little more frail and a bit faster and a bit more damage, and the one structure is more likely to kill things off. Think about your dasher where it's got 1 structure and 4 damage on it, and you know, most weenies will kill it. The only thing that won't is your dart. Otherwise, it's toast. So that's not overly. Well, it's not bad. It's not bad. It can be used. And if we look at the wolf, scrap a card from your hand, choose one of your mechs. That mech attacks as if it was 1 speed faster this turn. Use this ability during a mission phase. So there's a little bit of synergy there if you want to make that fast. The trouble with that is that it only affects mediums and the slows because there is no fast in this game. There are only 3 speed groups, fast, medium and slow. Okay, none of this extra fast and all that, and extra slow and all that crap. There's 3 speed groups. So this doesn't affect a fast unit, and most of the better played or widely played wolf units are fast. So the box power doesn't really help them at all. So does it have much synergy with Wolf High Command? Not really. Not really. So there you go. There's a couple of good ones in there. I think your Karita is just crazy. In the right deck, that's just going to slaughter somebody. I think the Steiner has potential. I think the Wolf is decent. I think you've got to have a plan for it. I think the Smoke Jag is average if you want to play missiles. If you don't want to play missiles, don't even bother putting it in there. It doesn't work. Jade Falcon is a resource, which is all right, but I think they're better cards. Ghost Bear is just bizarre from my point of view. Comstar is useful with all of the assets provided, and Davian is just more and more initiative, which no one really plays. So they weren't quite as successful with the high command cards. And certainly you wouldn't be looking at these and thinking, oh, I've got to go and find a box. I've got to go and get 5 or 6 of those. Well, you're not going to need 6 of them because they're unique. But like Double Overtime, when it came out, you think, well, actually, that's a good card. I could put that in most decks and it would work and it would be effective and it would be useful. Whereas you look at this lot and you think, maybe the Karita one works in any deck pretty much. The Steiner one has to have a dedicated deck. The Wolf one is very subjective. Smoke Jag is missile focused. You know. So they're a very, very mixed bag. And I think they missed a real trick. You know, and again, for those of you that think, oh, that's a great card, you show me where they've played. Show me a deck where one of these has been included. And I don't even mean a tournament deck. I mean a decent deck that will win a few games. And the only one I have ever seen is the Karita High Command. I've seen Wolf once or twice. Credit to Kevin for that. But I'm not overly convinced, which means now I've got to try and put that into a deck to beat up Chester. But that could be fun. So, hey, anyway, there they are. The 8 high command cards, rarity numbers 2 to 9 on the Battletech after Double Overtime, if only because they can only be found in boxes, and most of them are not that good. So, such is the game of cards, such is the randomness. So, anyway, enough of my ramblings. There we go. There's a little review of those 8 with some thoughts about them. etc., etc., etc. Hope you've enjoyed the notes and what have you. And that's me for this week. I suspect I've got a busy week, I'm afraid. I shall hopefully be back next week. I'll try and get some gameplay in. If not, I'll do something. I'm not sure what yet. We'll find out. I've got lots of things that I can pop in at short notice. So there you go. Anyway, look after yourselves. It's a big bad world out there. And I'll see you next week for another Battletech stream at some point. Take care.